Hello there, my name is James Ponak, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Deeper with God. If you like this video, please press like, and if you want to join a community of people growing deeper with God, please consider subscribing. Well, today's video is not going to be edited, and it's not going to have any fancy graphics or anything. I'm just going to record myself talking to you. And I hope that I will encourage you today, and I hope that I will challenge you today. Now, if you are not a Bible-believing Christian, I hope that you'll stay tuned and keep watching. But if you are a Bible-believing Christian, here's the thing. I bet both of you have something in common. And it's this, that sometimes it is hard to truly believe that what you read in the Bible actually happened. Sometimes our minds go into fairy tale mode, that it didn't really happen, but there's just a lesson we can learn from it. Well, I'm going to read a story today to you that is hard to believe, but that's why it takes faith. Now, I will encourage you that if you have trouble believing the Bible is true, watch the movie The Case for Christ. It's a great movie, and it really shows one guy's journey from being a total skeptic atheist to becoming a Bible-believing Christian. Great movie, great book, The Case for Christ. But those of you who are believers, I bet even you have trouble believing what you read sometimes, or really assimilating it, that's the word, into your life. At what point do we say, yes, that's not only true, but I need to be doing that in my life as well? You know, it's easy for all of us to say, I need to be a better person. Every person generally wants to be a better person. Self-improvement is so popular. But faith improvement, actually growing in our faith and doing things we've never done before, that takes us out of our comfort zone. And currently in my life, I'm being drawn out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in this video. So in this video, I'm going to do three things. First of all, I'm going to read a story from the Bible that is going to be hard for you to wrap your mind around. And secondly, I'm going to tell you a story from my life where I actually applied my faith in a way I'd never done before. And then thirdly, I'm going to challenge you. I hope you'll stick around for that. So first of all, here we go. This is a story I've forgotten actually where this is from. It's I think Matthew 14. Anyways, this is where Jesus is with the disciples. He's fed thousands of people. And now it says this, okay? Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, picture that, walking on the lake, okay, in a storm, in the night, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. See, they had trouble believing it too. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "let me come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Have you ever seen somebody walk on water? I haven't. And frankly, I've never had a desire to walk on water. I'm happy to look at the water, sometimes swim in the water, but even that I don't really get thrilled about. But I love looking at water, taking pictures of water. I've never really thought, man, I would like to walk on water. And God has never really asked me to walk on water, and I've never known anybody who's been asked to walk on water. And chances are very good that nobody will be asked to walk on water. And yet, this actually happened in history where Jesus said to Peter, "Come." And Peter walked on the water. It's kind of funny that when Peter and Jesus get back in the boat, they worship Jesus. "You are the Son of God." They were amazed with Jesus. I wonder if Peter was like, "You know, did you guys see that I actually walked on water? I mean, sure, I fell in, but hey, I walked on water." You know, it's impressive actually when you think about it. I love this story. Well, let me just tell you a story from my life where I didn't walk on water, but I stepped out in faith. I was in Bible school, and it was my second year of Bible school. And I was part of a choir that toured around, and we had this opportunity to go on this trip to various places with the choir. I was also involved with a singing group that did acting as well, so I had this opportunity to go on a tour with them. And then the choir was going to go to 2 different countries on a missions trip. Well, that would have just filled my summer up. Plus, I was going to have 2 weeks at the very end to enjoy my friend Grant in New Jersey, because he would allow me to stay at his house with his family, where I love to stay. Well, my summer was set, as long as I could come up with the money to go on these missions trips. Now, you see, usually when I went to Bible school, because it was in Rhode Island, and that's on the east coast of the United States, in case you don't know, and I live on the west coast of Canada. So you're talking about flying across North America. Well, usually what I would do is I'd fly there, fly back for Christmas, fly back, and then fly home for summer. That's what I did the first year. The second summer came up, my second year, and I thought, I want to do these trips, and I believe God can supply my finances. So I trusted God, and I had a plane ticket booked to go home. In order to cancel it, I had to do it in advance so that my Nana, who'd paid for it, my mom's mom, would not lose money. And so I was wrestling with this idea of, okay, if I cancel that plane ticket, I better come up with the finances by faith to go on these missions trips. Well, the time was coming where I had to cancel that plane ticket. And I had been praying and asking the Lord for guidance and advice and any kind of counsel I could get to make this decision. Well, the time came, and I said, "Lord, I haven't heard from you, nor have I got the finances to go on these trips. But I really believe by faith that nothing is too hard for you, and that I can see the money come in if this is the calling on my life to go on these missions trips." So I said, "Lord, tomorrow I have to cancel my plane ticket. And I don't want to do it in boldness or rebellion or in, I don't want to be cocky. I want to be faithful." And so I said, "Lord, I'm open to you changing my mind and changing my plans for the summer. Whatever you will, let it be done." So the next day came, and I really never heard from the Lord in the way I was hoping to hear from the Lord. So I canceled my plane ticket in faith. I said, "Lord, this is what I want to do. I feel to do it." So I canceled my plane ticket. Well, one by one, all of the trips fell through, except one. That was going with the singing and acting group. And then I had my vacation at the end of the summer with my friend Grant in New Jersey. But other than that, I had to fill weeks and weeks of time where nowhere to stay, nothing to do, and no money. Here I'd canceled my plane ticket. So I was in a spot where I had to just trust God and trust that I had made the right decision regardless of how things looked. Remember, Peter got out of the boat when there was a storm, and it didn't look too good, but he did walk on water. So here I am about to walk on water. Well, I was sitting in one of our chapel services after all this had happened, and I was trusting God, I was worshiping God and deciding, I know God loves me, He's going to take care of me. I sat in chapel, and they announced that they needed workers at a kids camp that would fill the summer. And you have to realize, I had no desire to work with children. In fact, I don't even know if I like children. But I felt this sense in my heart like, I should go find out about that. So I went and found out about it, and they said, oh yeah, you get to stay at the camp, and you get paid to be a worker at this camp. I was like, I think I'm going to do it. I want to tell you, I had one of the most amazing summers of my life working with those children, because I got God's heart for those children. You see, I stepped out of the boat, and I didn't literally walk on water, but I discovered that God could uphold me, that God could take care of me, that I could do something that I'd never done before in my life and had no training to do. And there I was, working at a kids camp. I loved those kids. They loved me. I have so many pictures of them on my shoulders and crawling all over me and just loving on me and me loving on them. What an amazing summer. And I got paid for it. And I had somewhere to stay. And now I have a story to tell you. Well, let me end this video challenging you. I just made a decision to change churches after 19 years of going to the same church. And the church I went to was life-changing. I mean, it changed my theology, it changed my character, it challenged me in so many ways. I was so blessed to be at the church I was at for 19 years. But suddenly things changed in the past year. Something changed in my heart, and I started visiting this other church, and I felt like, I think I could go here. It was just slowly but surely my mind started to change. My heart started to change. And next thing I knew, I was making a decision, and this was a week ago, that the old church was no longer my church. My heart had just disconnected, not from the people, because I still love the people, they're still my family, but my heart disconnected, and just I found myself floating in a sense towards this new church. And so today is Sunday. I'm going to be going to my new church. Now, is it comfortable? No, because even the seats are less comfortable than my old church. The building is old. It's a theater. The building, or not the building, the congregation's much smaller. I've got to get to know a bunch of new names. I've got to join new groups. I've got to learn new music if I join the worship team. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to challenge me, but I feel bring it on. You might not be ready to change churches. Maybe you're not even ready to change jobs or to change cities that you live in. But I always believe that a life of faith causes us to get out of the boat. Well, what does that look like? Sometimes we face the storm and we say, you know what? With Jesus, I can handle this storm. I've never done this before, but with Jesus, I can do it. And sometimes we have to leave our friends, not literally, but sometimes our friends are just not called to what we're called to. And therefore, they won't even understand your calling. They won't even understand your walk of faith. Hopefully they'll support you. Hopefully they'll encourage you. But you know, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll just sit in the boat and stare as you step out of the boat and walk on water. I want to call you out of the boat today. I don't know what that's going to look like in your life, but I tell you, a life of faith does not stay in the boat. Oh, sure, there are times where our faith keeps us in the boat. Sometimes our character keeps us in the boat because God is saying, stay. I know you want to get out. I know you want to run away, but stay. Sometimes that takes faith. But change in our life, doing things that we've never done before, experiencing the power of God. You see, this getting out of the boat is a miracle. Nobody walks on water. I've never known it to this day. I've never heard about it other than reading it in the Word of God. So it happened, and it was a miracle. It was a miracle that Jesus walked on water, and it was a miracle that Peter walked on water. And so I want to ask you, do you want to experience a miracle in your life? Well, you're going to have to get out of the boat. Do you want to experience something that you've never experienced before, that you can tell everybody about, and they'll tell some people, and those people will tell people because it's so amazing? Well, you're going to have to get out of the boat. Your faith cannot just sit there and do nothing. If you have the faith that Jesus has called you to have, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and experience things that are beyond you. So I want to encourage you today, get out of the boat and walk in faith. Thank you so much for watching today. God bless you.